I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I'll rise and do the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence for our brave troops. And never forget 9/11 and all the people we lost that day. Roll, please.
Councilwoman Boomer,
Here.
Councilwoman Hitzenberger,
Here.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Here.
and Councilwoman Crody.
Here. Okay, the exits are the door that you came in, and there's also an additional door to my right. Public comment?
We have one.
I'm Sharon Kroger, and I just want to review what we did at the last meeting where this water bill had been presented. I just want to say that there were two types of reasons that we were concerned, and I believe that's why the board unanimously voted to put it aside and work on it further. But I just want to review that the first category, the ones that I was worried about, was in the definition sections, and specifically I was concerned with the way that it appears not to coincide very well with our pluralistic set of multiple water sources in Amenia. It might work for a town that just had one water source and it was created by the town and everybody related to it or didn't relate to it in a simple fashion, but this is a much more complex town and the language doesn't reflect that, and so I'm concerned with that. And the other category of concern, I think, was expressed by Gretchen. It's in the technical section about the how to do it part. We were worried about an invasiveness and a punitiveness that appears in the language there. And it caused me to think that we need to see more other types of comparative legislation to see what other people are doing, because it does seem a little bit out of place the way it's written. I went to see Norm Benson on this. Norm Benson, as you may know, is one of our oldest citizens in town, and he's the water expert for the county for many years. He started the whole water system for countywide, and he chaired the Soil and Water Commission for years, and he's very experienced. And looking at this just briefly, he had some concerns about the lack of specific qualifications that dealing with who would be the personnel involved with these functions. He thought that should be spelled out differently or more specifically. He wasn't sure how this relates to the county. In other words, what is the county really asking here? And does somebody have a letter that says the county wants X, Y, and Z? I mean, you need to have that directly to your board, I think.
Actually, the county, when they did the sanitary tests, brought it to our attention that we did not have this policy in place.
Did they bring did it in writing, so there's something in writing?
Well, I believe there's a Department of Health regulation.
So it's not just in verbal. It was a letter came to the town saying this needs to be.
I don't know if a letter specifically came to the town. I do know that the Department of Health cited the town of Amenia for not having the policy in place.
I'm not speaking against the policy. I'm just saying it needs to get knit together with better language. I think that one of the other concerns in the section about the where they can walk into your property at any time and look at your well type of thing. He said that he has seen this written in a different way, where there would have to be a notice before inspection so that people's houses wouldn't be just invaded at any time. It seems to be too written, the specific way that this is written has problems. So my next suggestion, I mean, I think that this is important enough and it would be nice to not have to do it twice. I think the next step should be if you get Scott Chase to just come in and talk to you for half an hour about it, because there you could pick his brain, and he's very, very helpful. He was the one who just recently retired out of running the whole county system. And that county system interfaces with each of these towns differently. Sometimes they run the whole thing, and sometimes they interface with a system that's already there that somebody else is running. But he knows the whole range of different relationships. And I think that would be worth your while. He'd probably come and have a chat, and you could ask him any questions, and that might make it a lot easier just to get that finished.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Water Department report? I don't believe we have one. Did you want to go over anything from the committee meeting or no?
From the what?
Water committee meeting, or do you want to wait till Mark comes here?
My notes really had to do with maybe an executive session,
Okay.
and that's where I thought we could go over that.
Okay, building department report. John Fenton gave us a monthly report. So please find August monthly report for the building department as building permits go. We have issued 6 new building permits, which total $1,962, and 3 renewals for building permits of $525, along with a sign permit of $50. We are continuing with certificate of occupancy searches, and for this month, we did 3 searches, which total $175. As for fire inspections this month, we did not schedule any as I have been very busy with zoning violations. The total for the month collected by the building department is $2,712. Highway department, Dan is not here. Committee reports. Christine?
Hi, my name is Christine Ford. I'm the chair on the Recreation Commission. Just wanted to let everybody know that our meeting on Tuesday we actually canceled, and we moved it to September 17th at 6 o'clock. Just want everybody to know too that we changed to 6 o'clock from 7 o'clock. It helps us get home a little bit earlier too. Another thing we need to talk about at a later time, I just want to talk about something first before I go any further into some other information I have. We did have a really great baseball season this year. Not only did we have our town going, we had Connie Mack, who came in 2nd place over in Winston, Connecticut. We had Babe Ruth that came in 1st place. If anybody has read the paper, we had a problem getting the traveling trophy, which is a trophy that's been going on for years and years. I don't know the dates on them. I've never seen it. I don't know how many other times, Mina's name's on it, or like Sharon's name's on it, if Millerton made it, because we played Pine Plains too. Dover might have made. I don't know what towns made this team. I just know that Stanfordville would not, give us this trophy back. So Matt Meddy is in charge. He's over in Connecticut. He's in charge of the Babe Ruth League, and he gave a new trophy.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And it has Amenia as the first one here for 2013. And I want to acknowledge DJ Riley.
Very nice.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a beautiful trophy. I want to thank the board. We had a great program this year. Christine and the board ran great. We had plenty of money to cover everything. And I'm just proud to get the trophy. Wish we had the old one, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
DJ's been with the town for years. He's helped out several years. I would actually probably say more than 29 years. This is a man that will go out of his way to help anything we have. This year, like Farm League, we needed help. I had some young teenagers that were umpires. I'd call DJ up and say, can I use your equipment because I don't have ump equipment? And he would help and do that. Or I'd say, DJ, these kids have something else to do because all of them were on Honor Society. I said, I need you to help cover one of the games for me to be the umpire, and he did. And we did extra games, and he's just a help. I just want you to know that this gentleman actually comes to help with baseball for all the kids. Thank you, DJ. Okay, so no more stuff that we have to get on with the recreation. Pete Clare has resigned on the Recreation Commission. If you haven't read that, he has. So now I need that seat to be filled if possible. I guess you guys will have to talk that amongst yourself and see if we can get that.
Well, I
in the-
emailed Pete and told him he needs to give us a letter of resignation with the effective date.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll do a press release and look for another person for the Recreation Commission.
Yep. And the people that we have on there right now, we're all doing really well. I'm proud of every one of them. Everybody does a little bit of everything. You know, I think it works really well with all of us that are there. You know, not only myself, I don't really think I do as much as, you know, Chip Watt does a great job with me. He helps me out and stuff. You have Linda Gregory, who's been there since it started, and I go to her for extra help. You have Frankie O'Connell that helps out a lot too, and Rick Lonju that is new to everything, and we're all learning, and I think we're all doing really well together. We have fun, we get laughing and stuff, but we're accomplishing stuff too, slowly, but we're getting there. I just want to let you know too, I have got a hold of Lee's Trees to look at the Wasaig ball field. I have been unable to get down there with my children to try to do some cleaning up with a chainsaw. We've been kind of busy lately, and so he's going to give me an estimate down there how to clear it up, make it look healthy, just get it off the fence that's down there, because we have some trees that have fallen on the fence again. And then I asked him to come up here to the town and just look around too, by the playground and stuff. He did say there's a tree out here that got struck by lightning, and that really needs to be down too, so you don't have problems with that falling. Soccer starts on this Saturday, the 14th. It's their opening day. What I was told is that they're looking for any volunteers to help with their concession stand. And if you are interested, just to see Alan Lazarus. We have a co-ed adult volleyball starts on Tuesday, actually this past Tuesday. And it will be every Tuesday from 6 to 9 at the middle school gym up at the Weebatuck. On Saturday also, on the 14th, we have a travel home baseball game, which DJ is the coach to that one. It will be after soccer is done. It'll be probably after 12:30 because soccer goes a little bit into there. And there will be a doubleheader. They will also have another game at home on September 28th at 1 o'clock. And both of them are doubleheaders. And these are the children in our areas. There is a couple from Millerton, but majority of them are from Amenia and Wasaig. My movie night will be starting, I moved it back a month from October to November because I wasn't sure if it would affect also the drive-in movie theater, so I didn't want to kind of, so November 1st to April 4th, I will be doing movie night. And no, I'm a little late in that too. I don't know what movies yet, so if anybody has any suggestions, I am going to pick some older movies, kid movies that my kids saw, but some of the newer, younger generation might not see. And we're going to play some of them. So the door will open at 6 o'clock. Movie starts at 6:30. Again, I will have popcorn for everybody, and I think maybe this year we'll just all come in our pajamas and just kind of relax and have fun. That's my favorite thing. Come in with pajamas, have your slippers on, and just enjoy the movie, enjoy time together. Another thing I'd like to say is Chip Watt does a really good job. He is actually in charge of the girls' softball. And he is looking into making a girls' softball for the summer league, which is kind of going to be based on how we have our Babe Ruth, but this would be for the girls, and they would travel too. And he's meeting with a gentleman on Saturday at our ball field at 11 o'clock. And I will be there to support him because I think we need this too. We have a lot of kids in this area that really are into sports. And there's not, they actually can join the Babe Ruth. Girls have done that. Girls have actually been on our Little League. But this would be nice just to have their own thing, all the girls and stuff. And they do this in school so they can all be together. And I believe that is all I have to say. Any questions?
Before you go, I talked to you briefly about, I had a meeting with Karen Armstrong and Chris to go over the playground equipment here, and she gave us 2 proposals. So this would be the time to introduce it. I'm going to make copies and distribute it to the board for budgeting, because I think it's important to do something with that since it's cleaned up. And I was suggesting to Karen, and she thought it would be a great thing to do, we cannot use the sand in the playground. It's not approved for handicap accessibility. However, it's possible to remove the sand and do an adult volleyball setup. So, you know, we're trying to work out how that can happen. So there are some nice designs that she did for proposals, and, you know, all handicap accessible, challenging, and there are components that can be made larger, smaller, however, to accommodate the age groups. And she's suggesting that we have 2 setups that we can add on to, you know, a smaller setup for the 2 to 5-year-olds, and then the older kids in the same area, separated, and perhaps get some benches, you know, adding to our streetscape in the future, introduce those kind of benches there for adults to come or grandparents. So it sounds exciting. I think it's time to introduce this and get it done and get more activity on the grounds here. So,
Yes, if you ever notice, there's a lot of people, a lot of kids during the day,
Yes,
a lot
and-
of little kids that are here
Yes.
all the time. Yeah.
yeah, so I was excited. It was good. Chris put it all together, so that was helpful. So I'll give you a copy. I'll make some. I didn't have time today to do it on the
That's
plotter, but I'll distribute it so we can all take a look at it and what the budget figures are.
Great.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Depending on the total cost, we might have to go out to bid and get other bids.
Well, that was another aspect of working with Parkitex. They have a grant person on staff where you pay $1,000 for them to identify grants that are appropriate, matching funds, all of that. And if you move forward with it, they actually do a credit of $800 going towards the equipment. So your net payment for a grant writer for this would be $200. So they're willing to work with us to make it happen.
Now, do you think I can have copies of that for Tuesday or at our
Yes,
meeting? So
yes.
we can definitely go over that? Okay,
Yes, I'll make some. Yeah.
yeah.
How many
That's-
would you need, do you think?
Should
A
everybody
couple?
get one, or?
No,
Just
one would be plenty.
But I don't know what Chris has in the office. Just, you guys, he was supposed to go from that meeting to your meeting to present it.
Yeah.
So, but when the meeting got switched.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So I'll make a few. I'll
Okay.
make like 3 copies, because they're pretty big. You can look at them,
Okay,
you know, as a group. Okay?
yeah, thank you,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Mike, grants?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, everybody. I guess I'm handing out the grant update for September. I'm focusing on the Main Street grant. The town board met Tuesday morning, as they've been meeting every week, really, on the Main Street grant. The town subcommittee finalized the grant amounts, really, after looking at our 3 projects, which are Mr. Patel's building, and his grant amount is $108,750. Claire Houlihan's building, $41,250, and the Amenia Library, $10,000, because there's $160,000 of this $195,000 grant towards building renovations. So we did do that. The grant amounts have been finalized. The State Historic Preservation Office letters have been received showing no historic preservation impact on these projects. The project setup forms are ready to go. I'm working on the environmental checklists. So really the projects are moving forward. The painting of the post office is expected to begin soon. The streetscape project has been put out to bid, and the design's approved. That project right now stands at $25,000 to put in 6 new bench sites and street plantings along East Main Street. So
We had voted to accept the higher bid in that case, right? And you were gonna ask Aaron if it was okay for us?
I do have a call into Aaron about
Okay.
that, so yeah,
All right.
based upon past experience. with the bid.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember now exactly what the reasons were, but we preferred the first company to the second. I think it's because it was our lawn mowing company who was gonna put in and install it, and they haven't.
But we
been as
passed that local
receptive.
law for, you
Yeah,
know,
so
the-
that we
the
can,
best-
but it was a
best
question of
response.
whether or not the state
Oh.
would reimburse us, given
Mhm.
a lower bid.
I'll get an answer for you, certainly at the next board meeting on Tuesday.
And just point out to her that we did pass something in order to be able to take the best value of the bids, and not necessarily the lowest. But the lowest bid, it has to be the lowest responsible bid.
Right.
So if it doesn't fit the responsible category, we can also go with the higher bid. But you'll have to ask her about, what the state requires for that.
There may be some leeway with the 25,000 anyway, because we may have some leftover funds from some of these individual projects, like the Amenia Library is slated to get 10,000. The actual amount may be less than that because the freestanding sign outside of the library may not be considered part of the building renovation part of this. It may have to be considered under streetscape, which would increase that amount anyway. So, yes,
But you were going to check with her on that, too.
Yes.
That's fine.
I will, and I am doing that. On the Wassaic Trail to the train, I think that is also moving along well in terms of the review of the final, or the preliminary design. I did submit, or I have prepared the second claim, which will allow the town to recapture 52,000 of that grant, the full 52,000. The town's already got about 41,000 in reimbursement for the services of WSP Cells, the firm that is in charge of really this project of designing the Wassaic Trail to the train. So the town has been reimbursed. That claim, as soon as the supervisor is available, will be signed, and I'll get it to the DOT, and we should have the remaining $11,000 check coming to the town, probably within 6 weeks. And just as a reminder, the Greenway has also reimbursed the town $9,000 of a $10,000 grant. I think they're holding on to $1,000 until the design is approved. There's still, we have a $100,000 grant that we have not tapped into yet from Dutchess County for the handicapped accessibility portion of this project. I did interface with WSP Cells about that and reminded them of the need to have a more welcoming opening to this trail, especially at the where it connects to the existing trail. And I thought that would be a good opportunity for some of the handicapped accessibility improvements. And we have the Dormitory Authority grant too, which has not been tapped into yet. I'm hoping that some of the SP Cells design costs can be reimbursed under that.
But we need the right-of-way before we can do that.
Exactly. We need
Because
the right of way.
that's what they required.
Before we can get a final contract. You always need a contract with state agencies in order to draw down funding for grants, so the town is working towards getting a signed agreement with them. I'm working on the kitchen grant. It's close to being submitted. I've met with Rudy Eschbach, I've met with Leo Blackman recently, and I'm prepared to have that submitted soon.
What else do you need for it?
I just need to talk to Leo a little bit more about the budget, and just embellish the proposal.
When will you have that ready to go?
I would say by the next meeting, the next town board meeting.
So next Tuesday?
Well, no, the next full meeting. At least give me a couple weeks to finalize it.
So you just have to finalize some of the numbers?
Yes.
And then we can, okay,
Yeah.
then we can put that in.
I think, and once the proposal is developed, there may be other sources of funding that we could pursue for that.
Yeah, I
idea.
believe that's a match also. The
Yes,
rural development
there's a
grant.
20% match.
20% match.
Well, it's a $25,000 maximum grant you
Mhm.
get from rural development, and that's rare to get that much, actually. So the town will likely need more funding for this project. I mean, it's a big project. It involves a lot of renovations and bringing in of equipment.
Mhm.
It probably is likely to cost more than $25,000, but we'll certainly try to keep the cost low. That is one of the costs too, the implementing of the equipment. We'll get the lowest possible prices on that. So I'll get that done in 2 weeks. And then the Tower Hill Road project, the town did get a new $111,000 grant from FEMA to do that project, which is underway. I actually went to the site the other day and took some pictures. The machines are working at breaking some of the rock walls down there to open up a freer channel for the water so that the flooding problems do not repeat themselves. It's really a way to ensure that flooding won't damage the road in the future. It's a big project and it is underway. We've been keeping track of expenses. I'll be submitting a reimbursement request also for this as soon as possible because there's going to be a lot of bills that the town's going to incur as part of this project.
How much will you be sending in for reimbursement?
Well, I have to get we have to pay the contractor. He's doing the work now. I'll talk to Sherry about that and to Stan Whitehead, Highway Superintendent. In fact, I did speak to Stan briefly this week, so I'll stay in touch with him and see what the expenses are. He's already submitted to me all of the engineering costs. The town does have a match on this of $37,000, so we're trying to satisfy the match as well as keep track of the expenses and get the full amount that the town has coming to it for this. But it's underway, so.
When will you be submitting the reimbursement requests, Mike?
As soon as the town pays the bills.
So
Yeah, we have to pay it
no
first.
estimate then?
I mean, not as soon. The bills have to be paid. I have to get copies of the checks, have to develop reimbursement claim forms, so it will take as soon as possible, within a week or two of the expenses being incurred. Definitely, there's going to be a lot of work with these. The work is now underway on a lot of these projects. Main Street also, there's reimbursement requests that need to be prepared for Claire Houlihan and Mr. Patel. So they need to have some cash flow as well. We're trying to draw down money for that project as well.
Do you have everything from the town that you need for them?
For which one?
Ms. Houlihan and Mr. Patel's reimbursements?
Yes, I'm
You
working
have
on that
everything
now.
that you need
Yes,
from
that's
us?
another reason I want to talk to Aaron Kinney to clarify what expenses Mr. Patel is actually eligible for. And so because I would like to get him as much as possible for the expenses that he's already spent on the siding and some of the exterior work and interior renovations as well. I'll stay in touch with the bookkeeper, though, and she's always been very good about giving me any documentation I need. I have been working with her closely on some other matters, on the DOT claim and on grant agreement that she wanted me to draft, which I have done. Willow Lane, the grant, as far as I know, is still under review by Dutchess County, but they are being flexible with the town, as always. That's a community development block grant that I wrote, I guess, a couple years ago for the town.
So do they have all the bills they need?
I'll check with Stan on the status of Willow Lane when I meet with him. I think they do.
Because we need to close that out soon.
Right. Well, I'll follow up with Stan on that. One thing I did want to mention, as long as I'm talking about community development block grants, and you probably should be aware of this, I think you may want to think about it in your scheduling. The grant is due October 18th for next year, and in talking to, I had a walkthrough, I guess, with Bill and with Peter Karras, the landscape architect here at Town Hall, and we thought it would be a great project, and you may agree, to try to improve the handicapped accessibility of this site, whether it be improved handicapped accessible entrances and parking spaces and walkways to the building, which you're thinking of being a community center. It would make a lot of sense.
Is there any information been given out about the grant? Because usually they have the priorities.
They have sent it out. They've sent it out. It's due October 18th.
So they've sent it out already?
I believe so. I have not. I have seen it electronically. There's been emails from the Community Development Office that I
Could you forward it to the board, please?
Sure, but I'm surprised you haven't got it. It is usually
I
sent to the
didn't
supervisor.
I didn't get it.
None of
Okay,
us have seen it.
Well,
so-
that's why I'm mentioning it. I know it's an important grant, and it's due October 18th, and you do have to have a public hearing to submit an application. So,
So could you forward it to the board?
well, of course I'll forward it to
Thanks,
the board,
Mike.
but you do need to, it is something that is normally
We should have had it by now.
sent to the supervisor's office, so it is
And when is it due?
That was sent
October
actually a
11th?
month ago.
18th.
So,
October 18th?
Mhm.
Yeah, because we have to have a public hearing.
right.
Okay.
Well, we still have time. You can get it to us this week, Mike?
Yeah, I'm surprised,
Awesome.
I'll forward you that, for sure.
So maybe we need to plan the public hearing on September 26th, or I guess we could do it on the 10th. But we,
Let's plan it for the 26th. So Dawn, can
You
you?
just gotta authorize me to submit
notice.
a notice, but I need the notice. So
Right.
whoever wants to
Right. I'll
provide
make
the notice, I can send it to,
Okay,
Is
there's
there-
standard
is
language.
there
We've done this so many
standard?
times, I do have the form, I can get that to you, Dawn, the public notice that they had. Actually, it is, there is a form, there is a resolution, but, you know. a
Yeah, we need to do
sample-
a resolution. Can you get the resolution ready?
Yes.
Yeah, we need it for the next meeting.
Well, the resolution is something that you would
It's gonna
consider
have to
at the
go through
public
at Tuesday's
hearing.
meeting.
I'm
What?
sorry.
It'll have to go through at Tuesday's meeting, otherwise we'll not make the notification times for public hearings, so.
if you can get it to me and it's voted on the 17th and you're authorized language, we can send it to the Poughkeepsie Journal
Okay.
in lieu of the Millerton News.
Needs to be printed in
It has to just be printed in the paper 5 days prior, and that will,
the set
We could-
Then we'll make
we
the,
can do
then we'll make
Poughkeepsie
Yeah,
Journal.
we need
yeah,
to,
let's do that.
But you can
move
make the
ahead on
announcement to
this.
the public tonight that there will be a public hearing on September 26th, and it'll be advertised in the Poughkeepsie Journal. All right.
so I make a motion to authorize the town clerk to publicize a public hearing at 7 o'clock on September 26th for the Community Development Block Grant.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
If someone can get that to me, if that language is made available prior,
He's got it.
What do you need,
To
a notice of public
tomorrow.
hearing?
Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
it
Mike,
in the
Mike can get it
Millerton
to you.
Can you get it to Dawn Marie tonight or first thing in the
Yeah,
morning
I'll
so
do it
she can
tonight.
make?
Sounds like it's, thank you for
Millerton
acting on
News?
this so quickly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we
If
need
I
to,
have
we
it
need to move
tomorrow
along
prior
on this.
to noon tomorrow, I can get it to the paper, and then we can meet the Millerton News
Well,
deadline.
let's do it. I'll do it. It's, I'll just have to do, you know,
And
a
if
search.
not,
and I'll
then-
find last year's.
Yeah.
We do this every year, so I'm sure it's
Yep, but
just
we
a
need to
short
have
public
a
notice,
copy of
really.
the grant because every year they have different priorities of what types of grants they're more likely to.
I'll get that to you.
money
Yeah, I
for-
saw it online.
Because a few years ago, it was stormwater, so that's why we went for Willow Lane.
I'll check
the
too
last
with
few years
Mary,
have
because
been
I'm sure they got a
handicapped.
package on this. You always get a hard copy, unless they've changed that. I mean, I did get an email
It's
announcing
probably on
it.
their website. We could probably go on
Yeah.
and find out what their priorities are.
Can you forward it? Well, you
Yes.
have it, right? Can you just forward it to all of
I
us?
will. Tonight, I'll
Okay.
go home. I mean, do you, after this, I may go, that's
Yeah.
okay. But, yeah, I'll get it. The
Yeah,
public notice to
the
Dawn.
sooner we get it, the better.
But the resolution you would consider at the public, after the public hearing, which I'll bring that too. I'll get a sample one for you. Because I
Yeah.
think the handicapped accessibility project has a really good chance. That
Well,
is
I
one of
was
their
thinking-
priorities.
I was thinking sidewalks.
Well,
Because our
right.
sidewalks on 44 are terrible.
Well, let's
One
see
thing
what
I did
they're
notice,
looking
But,
interesting,
well,
We'll
we
go
have
for
to, you know, well, I mean, we really need to see what, you know, what their priorities are, because they list the things that they are more likely to give us grant money for.
I
But
think
we
they
need
are
to
the
see
same,
that.
though. They've established them in the action. I'll check that out too. I'll look that up.
But anything for a handicap, that's usually $100,000.
Right.
Other type grants associated with a community development block grants can be up to 150. But handicap, they usually limit to 100,000.
Right. All right, so you need to look at that and see, decide what project you want to apply for. I know Peter Karras was looking into that, who's going to do some costing out of the handicapped accessibility. There would be sidewalks and walkways here at Town Hall.
Yeah, the sidewalks need work here,
Yep,
too.
so you'll forward that and you'll forward Dawn Marie the resolution.
A sample meeting notice.
Public notice.
Public hearing notice, yes.
Yeah.
Try to make it as short as possible.
That would be
And then
great.
we'll have the
Basically saying the
resolution.
meeting is going to be September 26th
Right.
at 7
7
p.m.
You can just forward her the format of it and
The
she
last-
can
and then
fill
I'll
in the
share it with the
details,
board.
so.
Okay,
And then bring a copy of the resolution to that meeting.
Yeah.
or forward a copy
I think I
as
can
well.
forward
That
it
way
to
we
you. I
can
have,
all
yeah.
get a copy of it.
I'll forward all this stuff.
And then we'll have it on the agenda.
All right.
I talked with Leo this morning, and he will be sending tomorrow a color rendering of Mr. Patel's building, because my conversation was to ask him, at our last meeting, to ask him what colors. So I said, I don't do colors, so Leo, tell us what colors. So he'll send a color rendering.
That's
of the
exciting. I'm really looking
Yeah,
forward to that. I
it's
was
really-
glad to meet
it's-
with him. I think he
it's
came up with
coming
a good
alive.
plan for the building.
Yep. But I don't think there'll be any money left over. I mean, other people have asked about doing, other things. I'm just wondering, we need that bottom line. Is there going to be any money left over, even 10 or 15, that someone could paint a building, for example?
Yeah, 'cause
So
Four
the
Brothers
numbers
were
you gave
approached.
us, I just want to be sure, when you talk to Erin, that those numbers are accurate.
I will review that with her,
It's
Darlene, because you're
really
right,
important
yes.
because,
Time will slip away.
yeah,
For
a
another
painting of a
project.
building could be done by the deadline, but anything else anything larger than that would be questionable. So we don't want to have other people assume that they can do something when there's no money available anyway, or, not a large amount. So we need to know what's going to be used and what would be left over, that perhaps someone else could jump in and paint their facade. So,
I was always trying to work with the existing projects we have to maximize.
Yep, I know, but
And you never know until the work is done.
Right,
to
you
pay the
never know.
bills sometimes, but you're right.
Well, when we get Patel to sign the contract, then we'll have a fixed amount
Yeah.
that he can maximize, That will be when I say, we know how much Patel is
Yeah.
going to be eligible.
And Leo was revisiting those figures because we thought they were a
Yeah,
little
we gotta
high.
nail
So,
him down.
so by Tuesday's meeting, we should have a lot of information on his. That would be good.
Oh, good. All right.
Okay.
I did get the letters too on SHPO. I told you that.
Yep.
Oh. There's no other questions, I guess I'll, yeah.
Mike,
Yes,
why isn't the sidewalk TEB grant on the list?
I'm sorry. I will add it. Vicky
Could you-
sometimes does that too with dance program. No, you're right, you worked hard on that. I will definitely put it on there.
It can definitely go under the dance program because the dance program, Vicky brought in the money there, and my application is still, the application is still pending, but we're supposed to hear back in October.
What was the
From the
amount you
DOT.
involved with the award? I'll have to,
It was just over $500,000.
or not of the award, of the grant amount that you're seeking, and then the match. Well, I'll figure that out. 500,000?
Yeah, it's in the resolution.
I'll see it, okay.
Okay.
Oh, the resolution, did I get a copy of that? Or that's a,
Dawn Marie, did you send Mike a copy of that?
Oh, that we
Can you shoot him out an email?
Absolutely.
Dawn Marie will email you.
all right.
You sent her the public hearing notice, I guarantee
All
you
right.
she'll send you the resolution.
Okay, it's a deal.
It's a deal.
All right. Well, thank you for that. No, you're right. I'll definitely add that. And I hope that you're successful with it. We
Yeah.
should. We have a good record with that program, so.
And we've been trying for 12 years, maybe this will be our lucky year.
Right. Thanks for everything. And I guess I'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay.
Thanks,
you.
Mike.
In 2
Okay.
weeks.
Well, in 2 weeks, too. Yeah.
And you'll be there Tuesday, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
8 a.m.,
Sharp.
as well as anyone else
Sharp.
who's interested.
All right. Night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Any other committee reports?
I'll say that the CAC is going to meet on Thursday. Let's see, we changed it to August. I'm sorry, I think it's October 1. I'm sorry, we've been moving it around. We will not be meeting on our traditional third Wednesday, the 18th, because our chair will be out of town. And I believe we have moved it to October 1, but I will announce it at our next meeting. How about that? Because I don't think we've heard back from everyone yet as to when we're going to do it. I assume we're having an enhancement meeting on the third Wednesday, on the 18th at 5:30,
5:15.
5:15 here
Yeah,
at Town
yeah.
Hall.
That's,
That's
you're
standing.
stuck with that through the end of the year. He posted his schedule.
5:15 sounds good. I'm going to be there at 5:30 probably, but no. detail with Erica.
Town clerk's report? You didn't have anything, did you? Is there a wastewater?
No, I'm
committee?
reminded, though, you're talking about October. I know there's wastewater scheduled, so I'll check with Janet to see when that is.
Yeah.
That would be important. I don't have anything. No.
Just really quick, last month, the local share for the town clerk's office is $242.75. And just the fun reminder that DMP permits, that's your doe permits, all of my hunters have been coming in, ends on October 1st because that day is the first day of bow season. That's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, discussions, information technology.
Okay, let's see. Just give me a second to pull this out. Here we go. We are continuing on with the audit and
The information technology audit? Okay.
And for the computer passwords is the next thing up on the list. So as recommended by the state for the IT audit, we already have a password policy in place. We simply need to acknowledge it. We can acknowledge it in the form of a resolution or of a motion. Which would you prefer, Darlene? Resolution or motion?
I would say just a motion.
Do we have
Sure.
a policy?
Motion?
I would.
Victoria?
We're just accepting a policy?
We're just acknowledging an existing policy.
Why do we need a motion to acknowledge an existing policy if we already have it?
Because the existing policy isn't in, it's just enacted, but it's not on the books. It's
Okay.
simply the way we're doing business. We just have to say, this is the way we're doing business. So we can do that in the form of
Is
a
it gonna-
motion
Well,
or a
I'm just thinking, is
resolution.
this going to be in the handbook?
Yeah, it'd
If
go
it
with-
is, it has to be by resolution. I remember talking with our person, yeah. If it's in the handbook,
I
it
thought you guys would
goes
say that, so
resolution.
I prepped
Yeah.
a resolution.
Yep. Oh,
Take one, pass one down. All right, so this is what we already do.
I'm gonna need the one that does not have the
I-
copy stamp, so
Don't know where that is, okay.
Darlene has it.
Can you trade this with Darlene, please? Thanks.
Sorry, I mean, I take a copy and she says this is a copy.
yeah, she
I
needs
don't
the
want
original.
her and
Yep.
Has everybody got one?
Mhm.
Okay, so,
So let me see, I just
what
want
we're
to get this
already
clear.
doing is
This is what we're doing already, but we don't have it
written.
recorded anywhere.
That's-
This is the policy we're following, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So what it currently is our passwords have to be 8 characters minimum in length. Regarding password complexity requirements, the use of uppercase, number symbols, although we prefer them, they are not required. Passwords must be changed no less often than every 90 days. Passwords may not be duplicated for a 24 password retention cycle, meaning you can't put the same password in until you've used 23 others. Passwords will be locked out after 10 failed attempts for a period of 10 minutes. The email host must be configured to enforce the above guidelines. Passwords must not be written down and placed in easily accessible locations, and machine and email passwords must not be the same. So this is all what we do right now.
10 failed attempts?
Yeah,
That seems high.
it's currently what we have. The other thing I was recommending is that this be reviewed yearly. That we establish it, in writing, and then we review it on a yearly basis so we could change it.
Now, do we have our email, is that set up to look for another password every 90 days? Because I
Yes, it is.
haven't been asked to change mine, and I've had it for longer than 90. Is there something
I'll check into that. But
Yeah,
I
I
had
have.
Tim run an audit, and
have.
he
Yeah.
and he assured me that
Yeah.
all the accounts were set. So it could be something with your system, but I'll check it.
Because I have the same one that I've had from the inception. And I know from my work that, that every 90 days you get the message, your
Well,
password will expire in X amount of days.
I heard gossip-wise from someone that they were being asked for a new password every 2 weeks, which is why I had Tim run an audit to check all the accounts to make sure that they were all set to the system, and he assured me that they were, but I can ask again. That's not a problem. Any other questions?
No? Did you-
We're going to read the resolution and vote on it? Shall I read it?
Well,
Or are you going to read it?
Victoria's running the meeting, so I
Oh.
was waiting for
no, that's okay.
Victoria.
I just thought you were going to read it, so it doesn't matter if you want to read it, or do you want me to? I can read it. Resolution number? You know.
I was unaware of resolutions. I believe it's going to be 63.
Okay, you can add the number. Okay, when, the town clerk needs to know
It
about
is gonna be
resolutions, so
63.
she give us the number. Okay, resolution establishing an information technology password policy for the town of Amenia to provide consistency and security to information technology systems. Whereas the town of Amenia has established a community goal of providing secure data systems. Whereas the town of Amenia is required to define and utilize passwords in order to protect electronically accessible contact. And now therefore be it resolved, the town board hereby establishes a password policy to be reviewed on a yearly basis according to the following guidelines. 1, definitions, town affiliate. Any elected official in the town of Amenia, any appointee in the town of Amenia, and/or any employee of the town of Amenia. Town system, any computer system owned or leased by the town of Amenia, computing service operated for the town of Amenia, and/or electronic communication service operated from the town of Amenia. 2, policy. Town affiliates must adhere to the following rules when securing town systems and email accounts. Passwords must be 8 characters minimum in length. Password complexity requirements, uppercase, numbers, symbols, although preferred, are not required. Passwords must be changed no less often than every 90 days. Passwords may not be duplicated for a 24 password retention cycle. Passwords will be locked out after 10 failed attempts for a period of 10 minutes. The email host must be configured to enforce the above guidelines. Passwords must not be written down and placed in an easily accessible location. Machine and email passwords must not be the same. I make that motion.
Second.
Discussion? No?
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
And Supervisor Flood, noted as absent.
Is there anything else under information technology you'd like to bring
Nope,
up?
that was it for tonight.
Okay.
The other ones are taking a little longer, so.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Proposed town code amendments?
This was recommended by the planning board to handle, and John Fenton, is that
Yes.
who generated
For
this?
sign.
Yeah.
I've highlighted some of the recommendations. I would just like to go around town and look at some of the things that may be affected and if it's the right thing to do, or do we amend it in some way. I don't feel comfortable taking it on as it is. I think it's a very good recommendation, but I think a few of these may need some tweaking.
Do you have any specific suggestions now? Or? Or do you want to investigate a little bit more?
Yeah, I'd like to drive around and, some of these signs that are talked about, especially groups of signs, whether or not they all have to be the same style lettering, I would just like to look at it and see if some of the lettering were changed on a group of signs, what would it look like? So I need to look at that, so I would prefer to put it on hold and just,
Well, we'll table it to the next meeting then?
yep. I mean, that would be my suggestion. I don't know what
everybody
everyone
agreeable?
else
Oh,
thinks.
yeah, we need
I
time to look it
would
over.
not table it to the next meeting. I would wait for the next business meeting, actually. I would think it would take
Oh,
that
it would
long.
be the next town board meeting, would be the 26th. We would table it until then, so that everyone is here and can discuss it.
So I think some of these are very good, but mostly to do with the signs that I want to look at, so I would suggest that we table it.
Is everyone in agreement?
Yeah, I would love to have somebody go over this, particularly possibly John Fenton at our Tuesday meeting. I don't know if he would have a few
I haven't
minutes.
talked to John Fenton about this. I mean, this came directly from the planning board, so I would assume he participated in it, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay. I'll check around and see who I can get some more
Okay.
information. I think we need to make these changes.
I do too.
It's a question
But it's
of
just
getting
a-
the detail
Yeah,
and making sure
just the
that-
details of some of the, for example, the library sign, just the wording of that. We went through a few meetings, the uplighting and where it
Right.
was directed.
Right.
So I think a little further review would be helpful.
Better community understanding regarding backflow meters?
Yeah, I asked that one to be added. This isn't just to define scope. I'm not talking at this point about the content of the proposed local law or the changes that are requested by the community or board members regarding the proposed local law. I'm simply speaking about what we can do to help the community better understand it, that side of it. And we have two sides that we need to address. One is the actual writing of it, and the other is soliciting and absorbing community feedback about it. So, and I discussed this with Marco right after we had that public hearing. He was going to get back to me, but I have not heard from him regarding this. But one of the things I thought would be good would be to possibly put up some kind of interactive web page, like a bulletin board sort of thing, on our
Website?
server,
Mhm.
or develop with the water department some kind of brochure that we could give out electronically or physically to people who would be involved. All of the people in the water department should, of course, get the notice because everybody in the water district will be affected by this. And so those were like two of my ideas. I was looking, New York City actually has a really wonderful way of presenting it. I know they have, the millions of dollars to spend on their marketing and everything, so
A little ahead of the game. Right?
yeah, that's why I went there. But the material that they present, it's so simple and it's so clear and it makes it so accessible. Some of the things that they have to do because of it's that the apartment situation, it's really different from what we would be doing. But I think that would be a good place for us to start. But the thing is, Marco is, he's not a volunteer. We're paying him for his time. I don't want to incur charges if the board doesn't think that, developing
Actually, John
a
Fenton
plan.
has a lot of information on.
Well, I look
cost
forward to
containment.
his feedback on it, but he hasn't said anything. Even when I stopped in to see him, he didn't mention, so
Mhm.
I didn't know he was even interested or knowledgeable.
So I'm just wondering if the board wants to have, if we want to go down this path, if we want to spend the time.
Could you send us the link to the informational blurb that the city residents get about their proposed?
Sure.
That would be good. I think, just so we can
Yes.
see what's out there electronically.
This is new to us.
Right.
And I
Right,
think
it's reaching
also the
out in
question,
that
I had
level.
some questions, because I thought Marco was going to be here, but,
He said he would be at the next town board
Oh.
meeting.
Couldn't be here.
He couldn't be here
Oh.
this evening.
but, some of the questions the residents may have is, who would it affect? What devices do you have in your building that would trigger any of this action? So I think,
Right. I mean, one of the things that I really liked about the New York City documentation was it was kind of a flow chart. So it was like, if you have this thing, then yes, and you go here, and this is what you do, this
that
is what
sounds
it'll
great,
cost.
because I think
This
if
is
we
what your
could put
timing
something like
is.
that on our website so that the public understands, what it's all about.
But graphically, somebody has to create it who's knowledgeable technically, so
Well,
that's the trick.
We could
I would
probably
guess.
borrow the city. Do you think they'll
Or the
mind?
City. Oh, do they have a backflow prevention? I mean, this is the exact same system?
It's the same, this is
Yeah.
a
Oh.
I think we need to
Board
look
of
at it, and if
Health
it,
regulation,
Yes.
so it goes
Board of Health said you
throughout
have to
the
do it.
state.
So if there's a flow chart that already exists,
Yeah, we would
why
just,
can't
I
we just put
mean,
it on the internet? I mean, if it's technically the same information
because
or not?
it's not exactly the same information. We
So
don't
our law is
have,
particular.
sky-rise apartment buildings here in Amenia that I'm aware of, unless I missed something.
Right,
we
so
may,
tweaking it might be.
with Silo Ridge, so, we need to,
For
maybe we need
They're
to,
required
Silos
in-
don't count.
well,
There's
they're,
no water fee.
required in commercial buildings. Not necessarily.
well, I think,
residential.
if you could send us the link,
Yeah,
I
so
think we
get
should
a
look at it
sense of
before
what
we
you're
even
talking about.
discuss it anymore, so we can have, better
Okay.
information. Yeah.
So I'll just ask for that to go back on the agenda for our next meeting in 2 weeks, so we
Yeah,
can.
because Marco will be here.
Let's just
I
keep
think
moving it forward and.
having Marco here to explain, and also the water committee, we went to a meeting last night, and that was a perfectly good way for citizens to come, if you're in the water district or outside of the water district, it doesn't matter. Come to a water committee meeting and you get more in-depth information from the people who helped write it. So that next water committee meeting is October 9th at 5:30 on, what do you call that road? It's at the water tower. Lincoln Place Road. So you can come to that, and Marco doesn't charge us for meetings, so that's certainly
What time is that
an
meeting?
available time. It's at 5:30.
Actually, we could even have it here.
On the 9th, and we could
And
have
that
it here.
anybody would come, because it's kind
Well,
of
they always
close
have them
there,
there.
but there's not much
We
room.
could have it here.
Dawn Marie, can you get that, send that as an email to Mike so he can make a slide for Channel 22 when the next water committee meeting is?
And first we need
Are you
a
gonna switch the location, or are
We
you gonna
need to
keep it
talk
here?
to-
Well, I think we'd have to talk to May.
Well, we need to talk to the water committee,
And
As
we can
soon as
announce
it's
it at the next
confirmed,
meeting, right, we can
just-
announce it in,
Send me an email.
okay.
Who wants to do that?
I will confirm moving it to the town hall on Wednesday, the 9th at 5:30, if that's okay with the water committee people, and we can announce it again on the 26th.
As soon as you know for sure.
Okay.
Because once that slide goes up once, that's what someone else.
That's where they're going.
That's where they're gonna go.
Okay.
And when you confirm with her, could you confirm with me and
We'll
I'll
have the whole
update the
board on
one
it.
on the website?
Okay, English as a second language. I believe that Dutchess Community College wanted us to waive the fee because they were going to offer it again this fall.
I was given the application, there was no note with it, so I'm not quite sure. if
But I
that's-
believe
if
we
that's their
waived-
request.
I believe we waived the fee before.
Okay, you just have to make a
Yeah.
motion to waive their fee.
So So I make a motion to waive the fee for Dutchess Community College to teach English as a second language at the Amenia Town Hall.
I'll second that. You made the motion. right?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Because I checked with Mary, and it's not going to cost us any more in cleaning or anything. She said they were really good tenants. I'll go, yes.
Okay, and Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Constable Review Committee?
This was the information that we spoke about, I guess it was maybe 4 to 6 weeks ago. And I handed you guys out the, outlines of a constable review committee and the constable liaison committee. And I asked you to think about it. So, and I would bring it up in a few weeks. So here it is, a few weeks later. And my pitch is, as our community grows, our constables are being asked to work more hours and be out in public more often. I want the public to have a clear path to let us know if there's a problem or if the guys did an outstanding job. I also want the constables to be able to let us know if they're having problems doing their job so we can try and fix it before it becomes an issue. It's all about opening the channels of communication. That's the purpose. So the Constable Review Board would work for the people and their interaction with the constables. It would give the community members a path to resolve any disputes related to the constable's performance of their duties, and it would receive complaints by the constables or against the constables and make recommendations to the town board for resolution. And then the board would consist of a town judge, a board member, and a constable, which the constables would select. So that would be the Constable Review Board. The Constable Liaison Committee would work for the constables to give them a voice. It would assist in the coordination and proactive resolution of issues related to a constable's performance of their duties, ensuring that their needs and requirements are being met, encouraging an open line of communication with the town board, and review budget issues. The committee would be a town board member and a constable. And this is mostly because they're not just doing the court stuff anymore. They're also going out and doing more public events like the Amenia Drive-In and things like that. So this would give them, some structure and some guidance, so they would have that hand where they need it. This was also one of the things that was recommended that we put in place as communities have issues and lawsuits are filed. It's helpful to have this.
Recommended by whom?
Recommended by the state. As communities are,
Where was it recommended by the state?
there were about 5 towns upstate that had issues, and the comptroller's office came in and said, well, if you had a review committee or a liaison committee, something, you could have been proactive in handling this, and it wouldn't have been such a big deal, and you probably wouldn't have cost your taxpayers so much money. So when I saw that, I said, well, I think this is something we want to talk about, which is what I spoke about
So
when
we're
I
looking
first
at
gave
2
it to you
committees?
guys, and that's what I'm proposing tonight, that we discuss it and possibly pass it or move it on for further discussion. Or
So we're looking at 2 committees?
yeah, one is for the
constables.
interactions with the constables and the public, and the other is for the constables themselves to help them with the town board issues. Sorry, Mr. Warner.
I'm sorry, so there's a constable review committee, and that is the one that would be for the interaction amongst the constables and the town board. Is that correct, or have I got it backwards?
Let's see. The liaison is public events. So the liaison is internal, and the review committee is external.
Yeah, currently, we have, for instance, we go over the budget every year. We talk about the allocations, and Dawn Marie and Chris have come to us, right? And explain when they need special vests, when they need another person on, or they need to rearrange hours, or if they need a backup person. So that would change. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Chris, do you have any comments
This would
as a
actually-
constable? Do you have any comment about this, since you are a constable?
This would actually allow for that cross-check and balance where a person who is the court clerk and the town clerk wouldn't be the person, and the wife of the constable wouldn't be the person.
Okay,
It would,
that's
it
what
would
it's supposed to-
formalize it.
Now, you don't currently have a liaison.
No, I
No.
don't. I'm Christopher Klingner, Chief Police Constable down in Amenia. Anytime I have any issues or anything ever comes up, I usually bring it to the town board. Normally, we don't have any issues, everything goes pretty smooth.
Yeah.
But, anything that affects the constables, I would kind of like to know about it prior to, if we're selecting committees and doing different things. Because, we're pretty open door on our end, I try to keep everything simple. The guys work together great. We never, anytime something comes up, we discuss it. If it's something I can't handle, which luckily we haven't, I bring it to you guys, because you guys are the employers of us. So, if anybody has any questions of me, feel free.
The
And
liaison,
That's how I've always worked it.
yeah, the liaison that you're talking about is between a constable and one person. Is that the
Yeah, it would be like
framework?
if the constables would say, okay, this is the guy who's going to represent us for example, now they're using Chris. And then Chris would just come to one member of the town board and say, these are the issues we're having, or the town board would say, these are the issues we are having to Chris, and then they would,
Now,
it just formalizes that.
Okay, I'm just wondering if that's something that should be executive session. You're talking about personnel, and I don't think that should be in the public forum, and that liaison component. I could see the board, the review board, being in a public, but I think the liaison, it may be an issue that they may have among themselves that they need to speak to us privately about in executive session.
Well,
No?
the content of some of the meetings that the liaison would have, I could definitely see those not being public.
Yeah, I think
Because
that's,
that,
because,
there would be the potential for personnel issues to
right, there would be
arise
the
during
potential that I
yeah.
don't think should be in the public, so that liaison should be an executive session, I would think, if there's an issue.
Well, I mean,
with personnel.
that's if it's a personnel issue, but if it's
Right.
not a personnel issue, then,
Right,
Yeah.
but then that's what the other part, the review board that you're talking about, that's,
no, the review board would be for issues with the public or from the public.
right,
side of
but
it,
for
but
example,
not-
someone saying, I don't know, we need another crosswalk, and we've talked about this before, mid-block,
Right.
and whether or not that's an issue with them, it's, the public coming forward saying, or giving their opinion on doing that, I think that should be a public forum.
That, the public side would be more like, your constable is always harassing me continually, and you guys need to do something about that. That would be.
Yeah, see, I think that's
This is
executive
what's-
session, because I think
This
that's
is
a
what's
discussion.
recommended as having these two boards with the verbiage to go along with.
Do we
Okay,
have
do you
a
have-
sample of something like that might have
Yeah,
happened?
that's what I'm thinking, some sort of an example. You said you saw this somewhere, so,
Yeah.
if
like
it's,
8 weeks ago.
I
But
guess
we
an
need to see-
example.
We need to see where you
Well,
saw it and what you
Well,
saw.
since I
so
gave
We have
you,
some context.
since
there.
I gave you the information, what have been your thoughts on it since you've looked it over?
Well, I think the system that's set up now, I mean, if there's an issue or something, I mean, the constable would comes to us and we discuss it with the constable in executive session. I don't know why we would have to change that, because I don't see where anything is broken down that we need an additional board. But if there's something you've seen that recommends it, we need to see that.
I guess,
before we can
yeah,
go
I would
forward.
want to know what issues were precipitated from, I mean, the issues precipitated something to be developed, and what were those issues?
Most
Did
of
you
them
give us
appeared,
something?
most of them appeared to be where members of the community were having issues with individual constables within the community, and instead of going to court and everything like that, this provided them a venue to communicate about that. And then the flip side of it, the internal side of it, provided a formalized structure that could be utilized.
What town was it that actually had?
You know, I don't remember, and I wish
Okay.
I did, but I just don't.
Do we have any of that locally? Town of Amenia, or Town of Dover, Town of Pauling, Town of Unionvale? Because I know they all
No.
have constables also.
We haven't had any of that locally. This is, oh please, this is just total, you know, going through things, being proactive kind of things.
You know, I don't mind committees, I just, you know, if it works out well and it's, you know, what it needs to be, I don't mind that part, you know. But if it's not anything that anybody locally is doing, you know, I don't know. I always have brought everything to the town board. You're our employers, you're our HR people, you've done everything for us, that anytime there's ever been an issue, if I ever hear of an issue, I ask them to come to the town board and talk to the town board. You know, I've spoke to since I've been here, 3 supervisors. Anytime there's been an issue, I've brought it to them, you know.
And actually, I recall one time when you came into an executive session meeting with an issue.
Yeah, and actually
So-
sat down with us.
Right.
I think we're covered. I mean, that's, as
Yeah,
long
that's
as
the
they
feeling
have a
I have,
voice and we have a voice.
And anytime
But
I've ever
review-
had any of my guys have issues and I felt like I couldn't handle it, I
Yeah.
asked them to go to, you know, whatever department. You know,
Yeah.
if somebody has a problem with payroll, I say, go to the payroll department. You know, discuss it with them. If it's personnel issues, you know, if you have something where something's not coming HR-wise or insurance-wise, I say, go up into our HR department and talk to, you know, the person in charge of that. Again, it's, you know, up to, you know, town board to do what they would like to do.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say Chris has done a great job, because I've spoken individually to them casually when I'm here, and the constables seem happy, and
Yeah, they're
you know
great
what I mean?
team.
Everybody seems,
Yes.
it does seem like it's working.
I have 3 phenomenal guys,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I say, who I got sick and they all stepped up.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
sure
which is
they're
great,
working.
and
Yeah.
we've done that for each other.
Yeah.
One other one disappeared one time for something else personally. We all took care of things. So I think that, you know, personally, I think we do a great job and we do what we can do for each other.
I don't
Oh,
think,
yeah,
I don't think
there's
we
no
need it
doubt of that.
at this time. I just don't think we need it.
Okay, so then can we just officially vote it down?
Do we need to formalize the fact that you are the liaison for the other constables? I was just curious about that, because I don't remember actually
Well,
making that official.
They call me the head police constable, or
Chief.
I've also been called the chief police constable in meetings, and county meetings and state meetings, you know.
Okay, so somehow we maybe should formalize.
But that's,
the
I've
fact
always
that
been,
you-
since George stepped down, I was the next one up, and that's how we've always done it. You know, I've been here longer, I am a town resident, where some of our guys aren't town residents, so I
see.
feel that I can discuss things with you, and being a town resident and being a little different. and-
I'd be happy to formalize his position as such, because I just simply don't recall ever formalizing that.
Right.
But maybe it's been done, and maybe that's not our position, maybe that's what you guys do amongst yourselves, I don't know.
Anytime there's an issue, they just come to me, and I try to bring it to whoever.
Mhm.
And by all means, if anybody ever hears that there's an issue anywhere else, please speak with me, and we'll take care of it. And if it's something I can't do, I'll bring it to you guys as our, you know, employers.
Maybe to formalize it is something you want to look into at the reorg meeting in January.
Yeah.
So Dawn Marie, could you put that on your? Ever since I found you had that tickler file for that, I just keep
reward
adding to
file.
that.
It makes sense to
Yeah.
keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So can we just,
you.
thanks very much, Chris. So can we just officially say no to these then? How do we?
We just noted in the minutes that we discussed it and decided not to act
Proceed
on
at
it.
this time.
Yeah, at this
Okay.
point.
So, Dawn Marie, I'll give you a copy of those 2 resolutions so you can have those. All right, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, other matters? I believe everyone, all of the departments and everyone have been giving their worksheets for the budget, and they have to make sure they get completed and send in. I don't believe there have been any meetings set up for us to meet with the department heads, and I think we need to do that. Are there days and times that are where everyone would be available?
We were doing them on Mondays and Tuesdays. Well, not Mondays.
Whatever works for
Yeah.
everyone. I mean, I can come anytime, so I work at home.
I think we were, I'm trying to think of my daughter's schedule. I could be, I know we try to start early. On Wednesdays, I could start earlier than
What would work
6.
out for you, Gretchen? Gretchen should be here too.
Yeah, that's true.
7:30?
We have a long way. Oh, geez, that's a long night. Every 5 days a week. 7:30. Okay, that's what
7:30.
it's
Well,
gonna be.
then that's, we'll see who we can schedule at 7:30.
Unless you want to do them on a weekend.
I don't think people want to come in, department heads and stuff, they're not going to want to come in on a
I
Saturday.
believe they probably want to come in. I think it would be better if we scheduled them during the week.
I agree.
7:30?
Yeah. Sure.
Any
What
night.
days are better for you?
Monday's always good.
Mondays are pretty open. Except for Columbus Day coming up on the 14th.
So when is the first Monday that, we should meet as soon as possible?
I agree.
I don't know. I mean, the 16th, is that something?
Yeah, that works. Does that work for you?
Mm-hmm.
That would work.
16th to 7:30?
Yeah.
We have to advertise that.
Oh, you're right.
Do we have
Oh,
time?
we don't have
And
enough
then who are you
time.
meeting with? I'm just,
Yeah, we don't have enough
Yeah.
time to advertise that, or do we?
They usually start with Stan and
Yeah,
Water
start, see if
Committee
highlight.
and Water.
are
I
you
wonder,
having
wonder if we could piggyback
Ron,
on
is
Giselle
the,
do that then, since she's doing the budget? Just, is she gonna marry? How do you wanna do, who's gonna do the schedule? Like, what departments do you wanna meet with?
You have to do all the department heads. We always usually start with that, depending on
So
who's
if you give
available.
me your dates and the times, then I'll just give them to Mary and Sherry, and then they
And let
can
them sign themselves
do
up.
what they gotta do.
yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
So we
great.
have,
And can you
The
just CC
16th
the
at
board on that
7:30?
email?
Sure. That makes, every year it's been a little different.
Is that enough
so
time to
I'm assuming
advertise
it's
them?
them.
is
If
that,
it's not
is
them,
it that
they'll
enough
figure
time
it
to
out.
advertise?
If we
Which-
did
Or
Monday,
Monday night?
the 16th?
But who are you meeting with?
Can't we just say budget meeting and,
No, I'm just saying enough time to advertise, to
We
have a
can-
meeting.
We can advertise for, just say there's a budget workshop.
Right.
Which is what it is.
Yeah,
But I don't know who it would be yet. We don't know who it would be.
we'll just put
Department
generic
heads.
Yeah.
budget workshop
Yeah.
on the advertisement.
And do you want to do Tuesday also?
I'm thinking Tuesday, we could piggyback on the Main Street grant. We meet at 8.
I don't want to stay until
No, I'm talking before the Main Street.
before,
No.
like 7 in the morning.
Yeah. No?
Yeah.
I've got Erica to get to school.
Okay.
I'll bow out of that one. I think the 8 to the 9 works okay for me, but 7 to,
Okay.
that's too much to.
So the 16th is at 7:30 is not good for you?
16th will work at 7:30
Oh.
PM. PM.
Okay.
Oh, PM,
I thought you were talking about the Tuesday morning, trying to piggyback this
right.
on the Main
But
Street.
I was thinking Monday was morning, but you're talking in the evening. That's fine, that works for me.
Yeah, I've got something in the morning, I can't,
Yeah.
the 16th.
So then the 17th, and,
17th works for me.
yeah, I would like to get these,
Get them going.
Yeah,
we need
we're
to
only
rather
gonna
than
have-
do like 2 a week.
Because we
It
could
just-
probably do, you know, highway and building together.
Yeah,
Constables.
I mean,
Every day for the next 5 weeks.
He's got lots
Well,
of time to practice this.
why couldn't
that
we
together.
take next week and do every evening next week?
Just kick 'em out.
Yeah, just kick them out and do it, 7:30.
Yeah,
Okay, and just get them all done?
I've got an
With
enhancement
that
at 5:15, but we could do 7:30 on Wednesday. Oh, we've got a Housing Us meeting at Town Hall on the
What?
18th.
What is?
Housing Us meeting
time
here
is
at the
that?
Town Hall, 7 PM.
In the evening?
Yeah.
And you're attending?
That's the auditorium now, isn't it?
Well, I think that we probably should support it. It's the Stison-funded,
Okay.
you know,
Okay,
town.
so we'll have this, oops.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday then?
Yes.
Monday,
that'll-
Tuesday, what'd you say, Friday?
Thursday. You
Thursday.
skip your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Planning
And,
board
you know-
meeting is that night, just so we know, but that's fine with me.
Mhm.
And get all the department heads.
It'd be great to just,
not available the 19th, 20th, so if
So-
whoever is in charge gets to nominate one of you to take the minutes.
Do you have the recorder? We could just.
Okay, so we're all agreed on 7:30 on the 16th, 17th, 19th, and 20th.
And the 20th, the Friday?
If, you know, if we need to do that.
Yeah.
I am not available on Friday, the 20th, PM. I've just got
yeah,
a
why
lot
don't we
going
skip
on.
Friday?
Okay, so
I'd start the
we'll do
next
it-
week.
Yeah,
The
So why
20
don't we see where we are on the 16th, the 17th?
right,
And the
And the
19th.
19th.
Right.
At 7:30.
Yeah,
And we
good.
might be able to get
yeah.
most of them done.
Great.
Okay?
Well, Sherry should have all had them in. She sent out that notice to everybody, so.
Because we really need to get that, get the budget
Yeah.
formed up.
Okay, that's a good
Perfect.
start.
Any other matters anyone else has?
I've talked with Pete Sotero. He's on vacation now as of today with the highway garage. He's anticipating it's going to be much more than the plan that we put together with the Amish building, the pole barn. He had some issues with it. They would have to hire an outside architect. I mean, they're talking about their fee being $50,000 to do this. And so I've been back and forth saying, it's already designed. All we need is the footing issues with the engineering. So anyway, we'll see where that goes. But the building is designed. It works well with Stan. It's just a matter of
Well, we can have other engineers look at it too, right? I mean, are we set in stone with Pete?
no, I had asked Stan whom he wanted to work with, and so he had suggested Pete, but I mean, there are a lot of engineers out there. I could speak with my engineer and see if he wants to.
What about Rich Renia? Would he look at it?
Yeah, I've called, he's about 3 weeks behind on whatever he's got going on too. Everyone is busy at this time. But just to give you a heads up, he's anticipating that it would be well over 500,000. And to me, it's just not necessary because it's designed, you know.
And he thinks the overall cost would be in excess of $500,000.
Right, and then they get 10% fee.
But has
So we're
anybody,
talking-
oh, I see. So.
And then it kicks in the Wicks law, the whole thing, the separate bidding. It just, to me, it just doesn't seem
Once you
feasible.
get that threshold.
So, yeah, I mean, we have to be below that.
I think we need to look at other options.
Yeah, so I'm exploring other options, but he's on vacation now, so the conversation will be on hold until he gets back, so I'll be busy calling,
Okay.
see what we can work out with other people.
Thank you, Darlene.
That's good. Does anyone else have any other matters?
Well, we have the just
ahead.
in general, right? We're not doing announcements yet.
Well, we can do announcements.
Well, I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to make sure everybody remembered the picnic, which we just got that flyer electronically, the Indian Rock
Indian Rock
Schoolhouse, 10 to
Schoolhouse.
3. Yeah, it sounds like it'll be a really great program this year. Everybody should come out and have, I guess the firehouse is doing their chicken barbecue.
No.
That's,
Or is that something else? I didn't see that specifically on
What
there.
day?
that's the Lions
On
Club.
Saturday, the
8.
The Indian
10 to
Rock
3.
Schoolhouse Picnic and Community Day is September 28th from 10 to 3 at the schoolhouse at 25 Mygat Road. This year, the schoolhouse will salute local fire companies in Amenia and Wassaic. The companies will be there with equipment, firefighting gear, scrapbooks, free blood pressure screening, and volunteer sign-up. There will be a giant raffle with more than 30 prizes. The Amenia Lions Club is having a community classic car show. They've partnered with the Maplebrook School and members of the Amenia Recreation Commission to hold the first community classic car show. The event will be held on Sunday, September 15th from 10 to 3 at the Maplebrook School campus. Proceeds will benefit the Amenia Lions Community Fund. Also, this Sunday, the firemen are having their first pancake breakfast for the season. It's from 7:30 to 11, all you can eat. Please support your local firemen.
Amenia or Wassaic?
What?
Which,
Amenia.
Amenia?
Amenia Fire.
Wassaic was last week.
After you go to the schoolhouse picnic, you can come to Smithfield Church on the 28th at 4 o'clock. There'll be a concert. Kent Tritle, who is an organ specialist, he will be playing Brahms, and it'll be a nice afternoon. It's $20. There'll also be, he's accompanied with someone playing the cello, so it should be a wonderful afternoon. And there'll be refreshments afterwards. It starts at 4 o'clock, so look forward to having people come.
Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
So tonight's PSA is about computer literacy. We've spent a lot of time here talking about how to use your computer, but the fact is that right now there are 62 million Americans who don't use the internet and don't use a computer. So there is everyoneon.org does give information for people who are trying to learn how to use a computer, or if someone's asking you how to use a computer and you want to be able to help them. You can get a lot of knowledge there at everyoneon.org. And Let's Get America Online is their little motto, which I think is nice. But it does just remind us that just because we all use computers doesn't mean that everybody can. And if they don't want to, it's an okay thing. Paper is fine. Thank you.
I would ask that we go ahead and approve these minutes if everybody's read them. I was away, and is everybody ready to do the ones that Dawn Marie circulated well in early August, I guess, or mid-August? It was July 11th, July 23rd, July 25th, July 30th, August 6th, August 13th, and August 20th. Is
I
everybody-
need to reread
You
them.
need to, okay.
You still need to check them out?
Go through them again, yeah.
Okay. Is there any other business?
Executive session, maybe?
Then I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, can we go into executive session?
Did you want to go in executive session?
Well, I think just briefly, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I mean, if the board feels you know, we had a water committee meeting, and I just want to share with you some of the a personnel issue.
I'll make a
Then
motion, we go into executive session to discuss.
personnel matters.
I would second that.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Crody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Brody. Sorry, Doyle?
Yes.
Okay.
Any vacation?
She should have been